Eddington. So Eddington is, from what I know, it's this film is directed by Ari Aster, the man who this man directed Hereditary. I love Hereditary, and he directed Midsommar. I love Midsommar, and he's been doing a lot of his work is very like horror. It's horror, and there's like some kind of supernatural. Well, I want to say his work is really horror, like supernatural horror, you know. But this one, he also directed another movie with Joaquin Phoenix, which is Beau is Afraid, which, from what I heard, it's a tragic comedy horror film, which that like all those words combined together, I've never heard of. I've never heard of a tragic comedy before in my entire life. I've seen so many movies and I've never seen a tragic comedy. I've never heard of that word until that movie came up, and unfortunately, Beau is Afraid. That is the one movie that escaped me. It flew under my radar. I didn't see any posters. I didn't see any marketing. No trailers. Zero. All I know is it's directed by Ariasta, or whatever. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, and I saw the poster. I just saw one poster. That's it. And like I said, it looks like a tragic comedy. That's all I know. So that's the one movie that I haven't seen from Mr. Astor. But this is his fourth movie. Eddington is his fourth movie, and it stars once again. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Austin Butler, and Emma Stone. And this film is set in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic in New Mexico. The film examines the political and social turmoil caused by the contested mayoral election fought between Sheriff Joe Cross, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and Mayor Ted Garcia, played by Pedro Pascal. Now, I have seen this movie on Thursday, but I just wasn't in the mood to want, review this, to make a video of it. But here we are now. So apologies for that. I just, I wasn't ready. I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't ready to, make a video review for this film, but I am now. So here we are with Eddington. A little late than ever. A little late to the party. Um, I will say this movie. I haven't seen Beau is Afraid, but I've heard it's solid. Good things about it. It's a pretty solid movie. This one is yet another pretty solid movie. I don't think we're gonna forget about Beau is Afraid. All right, I don't think this movie Eddington is as great as Hereditary with Toni Collette, who's extraordinary in that film. And I don't think it's as it's not as fucked up as Midsommar, in a good way, um, with Florence Pugh. Um, I think it's not as great as those two movies, but I still had a fun time with this film. I will say this film, like my main issue, I have two big issues with this film. I thought, I'm not gonna talk about the acting. I mean, it's Austin Butler, Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone. Like, these are like Oscar like nominated winners. Nominees and winners. The cast, the acting, the performances it's amazing. Come on, I'm not gonna talk about the acting. Obviously, it's extraordinary. Obviously it's extraordinary. It's amazing. Especially Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix really does steal. He really is like the star of this movie. I was thinking to myself, like, is Joaquin Phoenix, is his character, this sheriff, is he a good guy? Like, the movie opens up, no spoilers, but the movie opens up with Joaquin Phoenix's his character, which is who is a sheriff, and I'm like, okay, so he's the main character, the main protagonist, but later on he kind of turns into the antagonist. No spoilers. I guess that's a light spoiler, but whatever. Um, Pedro Pascal and Emma Stone plays. I guess he plays. He. I guess Pedro. I guess Emma Stone plays Joaquin Phoenix's wife. Sheriff's wife. Austin Butler has a very minor role in this film. He appears way down the line in this film. So just give you guys a little disclaimer. So it's really going. It's this entire movie is just going back and forth between Pedro Pascal's character and Joaquin Phoenix's character. They're trying to compete against each other to be mayor of this city, or this town, or this village, or whatever. So yeah, but it's really mainly focused solely on Joaquin Phoenix's character. And like I said, I have two, going back to what I said, I have two big issues with this film. One is, I thought the movie, there was a point, I'm not gonna lie, like there was a point in the movie, um, again, no spoilers, where I thought, okay, this is where the movie is going to end. But no, there's like an additional scene, but no, it's a sequence. No, it just keeps going, I thought there could have been like one fragment of this movie that could have been deleted. There's that. Um and also, guys, come on. The tone. The tone of this movie is really off. Um, it's like, like I said, I love the acting. I love the acting, the performances from all the actors. I thought the satire commentary was, was not offensive. It was very accurate in the portrayal of the pandemic. Um, but like the story, but once you take a step, once it took me a while. It took me a long while. It took me like pretty much like the weekend. It took me a few days to really take a step back and really think about this movie. I like as a story, like overall, this film, I thought it was tonally inconsistent. I mean, I don't know what this movie was going for. Like, is it? I don't know. Like, is it? There's so much. I don't know, but because of the tonal inconsistency, there's so much, you know, missing. There's so much missing, and there's so much information that's missing. Like, does the movie want to be like I thought? I'm sorry if I'm pausing. I apologize if I'm like blanking out and pausing. Um, like I'm just like, is this movie trying to be? I don't know. Like I can't really talk about it without going into spoilers. Fuck it. Whatever. Like, is this movie really going to be like, is this movie trying to be like more, I thought like this movie was going to be like just plain out like an election competition between, um, between Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal. But of course, this movie is directed by Ari Aster, who's done a lot of like horror movies. This is his first like it's a black comedy neo-western satire or and which is something he's new to doing because he's always done like supernatural horror films like Hereditary and Midsommar. So this is the first like new territory that he's stepping into and he's directing. It just feels inconsistent, you know. Is this movie trying to be like a hitman bodyguard fight, or is it trying to be like just a mayoral competition? You know what I mean? But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say for Eddington. Don't get me wrong; it's a solid movie. I would buy this movie. You know, when this movie comes out, I could see myself buying this movie. Um, I can see myself buying this movie. You know, watching this movie again. There were some there were some surprises, but there was a few predictabilities. But there were a lot of surprises that caught me off guard. Like I did not expect, you know, Pedro Pascal's character to fucking die, to get killed off. I That was the biggest surprise. I really thought it was gonna be just a friendly competition, but of course, Joaquin Phoenix's his character is a dick. He goes. I thought he was the protagonist, but no, he's the antagonist. He really is the antagonist. We're following the antagonist the whole time. He's been the antagonist. Um, and I guess Pedro Pascal was, in a way, was the protagonist. But yeah, that really caught me off guard. Um, yeah, there was a lot of commentary during. It wasn't just the COVID-19, but it was just talking about Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and everything that happened, all the events that happened in that year 2020. This film talks about it. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say for Eddington. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time to listen to my review, my thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe, because when you subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would help me out a lot, guys. I appreciate it. I'm thankful for it. And I will see all of you in my next video. Peace.